How's it doing, folks? And welcome to an emergency Yu-Gi-Oh unboxing video. I'll be your host, the Black Viking. So today, which is August the 7th, I happened to go visit my own personal Grampa Yugi, and I just happened to walk in at a really good time. Because I guess he was doing a sneak peek for the Dawn of Majesty set, which actually comes out on the 13th of August, which is this month. So I lucked out and I was able to get a box to do an opening for you folks out there. Now, this is going to be completely blind. I know absolutely nothing. I don't know the cards that are in this set. I know some of like the archetypes that they do. So what I've done is I'm going to open, as we normally do, 4 packs like verbatim, but I didn't do what I normally do where I split out the commons and stuff. So I wanted this to be completely blind. So I have all the other 20 booster packs opened, but I just so actually let me get into part of that explanation. So it's a 100 card set. But since this is a newer set, it does not follow the same rarity. This is one of the sets that has actually eliminated the rare. So it's actually a 50 commons, 26 super rares, 14 ultra rares, and 10 secret rares. So it lets us do our little strat easier where we do the 1, 2, 3, 4 and put them on the top so that the top card will actually be the rare card. But before we even get into all of that, it's t-shirt time. So the t-shirt that I'm wearing today is actually a Steven Universe t-shirt, one of actually my favorite cartoons. And what we have here, which actually plays into one of the themes that this new set supports, is there's a new, it has some support for fusion monsters as well, which also, and I think it also supports ritual monsters too. So what we have here is a fusion of the 3 main crystal gem characters, obviously not including Steven Universe himself. So we have Garnet at the bottom here, we have Pearl here, and we have Amethyst here. So the fusion between Amethyst and Pearl, of course, is Opal, and then the fusion, and then actually Garnet herself is a fusion of Ruby and Sapphire. So that was really cool when that was shown in the show when they finally showed that. And the song that came from that was one of my favorite songs on the show as well. Also, the All I Want to Do Is See You Turn to a Giant Woman, which came from Opal, is another one of my favorite songs from the show as well. And of course, we have Sugalite down here, which is a fusion of course, Garnet and Amethyst, and then of course we have Alexandrite, which is a fusion of Pearl and Garnet. And then, of course, in the middle, we have a fusion of all 3, which is Alexandrite. So I thought this was an appropriate shirt to go along with this opening, since there are some fusion support in this set. So, back to what I was saying before in terms of what I've done in terms of opening the cards ahead of time. So what I normally did was I would go through and I would sort out the rares and sort out the commons, and we would blaze through those. But in this case, we're actually going to be going through everything together blindly. So all I did was I made sure that the rare card was at the back, and which is easier to do now that there are no rares in the set either, so I'm not getting confused, because sometimes the rare would be ahead of the foil and sometimes it would be after the foil. So these are just all foils, because this is one of the sets that has eliminated the rarity. But without further ado, let's hop right into this and see what we're going to get. So of course, this set does support, of course, Stardust Dragon, which is our chase card. Now, I don't even know the name of this card because I haven't looked at anything up. All I did was I looked up some of the specs so that I can provide you with, so I can provide you fellow duelists out there with those specs. So of course, our box art card is going to be our chase card for the set, which I believe is a secret rare. So unfortunately, because they have eliminated rares, the secret rares per box have gone up from 8 to 10. So so it will be a little bit more difficult to pull the secret rare that you want now. However, all the cards in the set, all the rare cards would be foil cards. So I guess that's kind of like the trade-off now. So of course, yeah. So it does support the Stardust Dragon archetype. There's a resurgence of the Gizmex. There's a new insect archetype. Of course, one of the things I'm looking for, and a good friend of mine, Mitch, is looking for, is that there's a new theme archetype around that's based upon sushi. So they're like sushi ships. So that's really cool. So I'm looking for those as well. And then some support from some older archetypes include Fallen of Albaz and Dogmatica, and of course many more from previous sets as well. So let's do the first 4 verbatim openings, and then let's get to the other little mini stacks that I have here. So let's see what we get in our first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have a Majestic Absorption. We have a Bee Trooper Fly Instinct. So I believe the Bee Trooper is going to be the new insect archetype that's in this set. It's really cool. And of course, I believe the Majestic is referring to Stardust Dragon specifically, so that's one for that archetype as well. Then we have Doombear Psychoampos. We have Raten the Heavenly General. We have Konohasakuya, I believe is how it's pronounced. Then we have a Dispatch Dispatch Paparazzi. That's actually really cool. And then we have our first of the sushi ship cards, which is Gunkin Sushi Shipyard Seaside Super Spot. So that's awesome. Then we have an Aero Pix 3. And then our first foil card of the set is Super Rare Trickstar Festival. It's part of this Trickstar archetype, whose effect is special summon 2 Trickstar tokens. Very light, level 1, attack 0, defense 0. If a Trickstar monster or monsters you control that was or were special summoned from the extra deck would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You cannot normal or special summon monsters the turn you activate this card, except Trickstar monsters. You can only activate 1 Trickstar Festival per turn. So first card is part of Trickstar archetype, and it is a super rare. Awesome. And our next one. 2, 3, 4. Then we have Copperbonica, Mystical Beast of the Forest. Ooh, we have our first Sushi Ship monster. We have Gunken Suship Iruka class Dreadnought. So that's really cool. Then we have our next one. We have our Gunken Suship Iruka. Nice. We have Goki Finishing Move, part of the Goki archetype. You have a Monster Assortment. We have a Dragonlark Pyren. We have a Flying Red Carp. And then our second foil is... Oh, no. It's a Gaimor Dragon Shell. And our actual second foil is Branded Opening. Interesting. Discard 1 card, then take 1 Despia monster from your deck, and either add it to your hand or special summon it in defense position. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters. If a fusion monster or monsters you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only use each effect of Branded Opening once per turn. So I guess that new archetype they were referencing is the Despia archetype. Nice. And our second last. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a Margin Trading. Another of the Suship cards. We have Gunkin Suship Daily Special. We have a Sambel the Star Bonder. Branded Bond, which is part of the falling of the Albaz archetype. We have a Glacier Aquamador. Oh, this is a retrain of Aquamador. Let's go. Old school card from back in the day. That's actually sick. Nice. Then we have Jar of Generosity. So that's cool. We have 2 Toads with 1 Sting. I think that's kind of referencing the axiom of 2 birds with 1 stone, so that's actually kind of cool. And then our maybe third? Nope. We have Slower Swallow, and then our third foil card is Magic Key Dragon Andrabime, I think. And its effect is, it requires 1 fusion, 1 magic key effect monster plus 1 normal monster except a token. When this card is fusion summoned, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. Once per turn, you can target 1 normal or magic key monster in your graveyard. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls with that monster's attribute. Once per turn, if an opponent's monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard is destroyed by battle or card effect, did I read that? Once per turn, if an opponent's monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard is destroyed by battle or card effect, if this card was fusion summoned using 2 different attributes as materials, you can draw 1 card. Nice. So I think the Magic Key is another new archetype in this set as well. Nice. We got our third super rare. Then our final verbatim opening. 1, 2, 3, 4. Has another B Trooper Flying Sting, which is a copy. We have a Magic Key Duo. We have a Beast King Unleashed. Another one of the Gusto archetype, Gusto Vedier. We have a DDD Different Dimension Derby. We have a Tailwind of Gusto. That's cool. We have a Chronomele Esperanza Glyph. Another Gaimor Dragon Shell, which we have. And our next rare card is... Ooh, it's an interesting... Knight's End Administrator. That requires Knight's End Sorcerer specifically, and 1 or more non-tuner monsters. So its effect is... If this card is special summoned, or if another spellcaster monster is special summoned to your field, you can target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard. Banish it. If this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in its owner's monster zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target 1 level 4 or lower spellcaster monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only use this effect of Knight's End Administrator once per turn. It's kind of hard to see because it's a very light aesthetically set of card, but that's really cool. And that's our 4th super rare. Alright, so now to get into our other cards here. So let's go with this one. So we have some cool looking cards here. And our rare card is not what I think it is. We have another of our sushi ships. And this is interesting because it's a normal monster, but look how much text it has on it. So that's actually really cool. And then our actual rare card is Magic Key Mech Musket Bato Buster. Whose effect is he's a ritual monster, a ritual and a tuner, so that's an interesting combination. So you can ritual summon this card with Magic Key Maftia. If this card is ritual summoned, you can add 1 Magic Key card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Magic Key Mech Musket Battle Buster once per turn. Once per turn, when an attack is declared involving this card in an opponent's monster that has the same attribute as a normal monster or magic key monster in your graveyard, you can place any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, negate the effects of that opponent's monster until the end of this turn. Then draw the same number of cards placed under the deck. Nice. That's cool. The new Magic Key archetype seems pretty interesting as well. And it includes fusions and virtual monsters as well. Alright, so let's see what our next one brings. And then our rare is Despian Comedy, whose effect is, if your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a face-up Despia card or cards you control, quick effect, you can discard this card. Negate that effect. If this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you contribute one fusion monster, special summon this card. You can only use one Despian Comedy effect per turn and only once that turn. That's a pretty high defense for a 1-star monster too. That's really cool. Alright. Next we have... Ooh, if you remember the Money Mud Dragon Synchro monster, this is like a baby form of him, obviously. That's really cool. A baby Mud Dragon. Then we have Masters Diploman, Sambell. Chronomele Akrambo figures. And our... looks like our first ultra rare, because I can kind of see the text shining there. We have Grand... Oh, it's a Sulfur-Cord. Grand Sulfur-Cord Musalia. Or Musesia? Yeah, we'll go with that. So its effect is... requires 2 Pendulum monsters. Interesting. During your main phase, you can add 1 Pendulum monster from your hand to the extra deck face up, and 1 face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck to the hand, as long as one of them has an even pendulum scale and the other has an odd pendulum scale. When you pendulum summon a Sulfur-Cord monster or monsters, you can target one of them. Add 1 Sulfur-Cord pendulum monster from your deck to your hand whose level equals the pendulum scale of that monster. You can only activate each effect of Grand Sulfur-Cord Musia once per turn. Nice. That's our first ultra rare. Let's see our next one. Got some Chronomele. And that's our normal monster for the Magic Keys. That's cool. Yeah, there's some Chronomele support in here as well, and even some Spriggans. Nice. And then our rare card of this pack is... Ooh, another Magic Key fusion monster. Magic Key Beast Enisalobolas. I'm only going to say that once because I'm going to butcher it if it comes up again. So it's a Beast Fusion Tuner Effect monster, which requires 1 Magic Key monster and 1 normal monster except a token. If this card is fusion summoned, you can add 1 Magic Key Meltia from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use this effect of Magic Key Beast Enisobolas once per turn. Once per turn, you can target 1 attack position monster your opponent controls with the same attribute as a normal monster or Magic Key monster in your graveyard. Change it to defense position, and if you do, it loses 1,000 defense. Banish any monster destroyed by battle with this card. Nice, there you go. And as you can kind of see with the Magic Key monsters, is he in this one as well? I think he is. Yeah, he is. So that 1 Magic Key normal monster, Calvkiss, him, you can kind of see him on his back there, and then also on the back of the dragon as well. So that's actually really cool. I really like when they have like when they have an archetype that includes fusion monsters, but they have like a base monster that all the fusions kind of stem from, but they include some pieces, forms, or actually the card himself in the artwork of the fusion monster as well. I think that's actually a really cool thing that they do. So that's that. All right, moving on to our next one here. Another sushi ship. And our rare is our first Bee Trooper monster. We have Bee Trooper Scale Bomber, whose effect is: if an insect, monster, or monsters is or are normal or special summoned to your field, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. When a monster your opponent controls activates its effect, quick effect, you contribute one insect monster, destroy it. You can only use each effect of Bee Trooper Scale Bomber once per turn. And given it's saying Scale Bomber, typically, and it looks like a butterfly type of insect, it's most likely, even though its wings are somewhat colorful, it's most likely a moth, because typically moths are the ones that their scales are poisonous or dangerous. So that's really cool as well. So it has the colorfulness of a butterfly, but the dangerousness of a moth. All right. Moving on to our next little pile here. And our rare is not that, but this is our secret rare. So our first secret rare is Anethium Intelligence Misaya. Cool. So its pendulum effect is: any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead, except monster cards. Oh, nice. And its monster effect is: you can reveal this card in your hand and one other pendulum monster from your hand, or one card from your pendulum zone, to its owner's You can reveal this card in your hand. You can reveal this card in your hand. Add one other pendulum monster from your hand or one card from your pendulum zone to its owner's extra deck, face up. And if you do, special summon this card. You can only use this effect of Anethium Intelligence Misaya once per turn. If another monster or monsters is or are normal or special summoned while you control this card, send that monster or monsters to the graveyard during the end phase of this turn. Oh, geez, nice. That's really cool. It's a really cool looking card too. You almost think it might be psychic, but it's Cyberus. There you go. Our first of two secret rares. Then our next little set here. And our rare is more alien cards. Nice. It is not a flying away card, but a Daigusto Laplampilica. Yeah, Laplampilica. Yeah, we'll go with that. So it is a psychic synchro effect which requires one tuner and one or more non-tuner Gusto monsters specifically, so it's not generic. And its effect is really small, and it states you can only special summon Daigusto Laplampilica once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, you can special summon one Gusto monster from your hand and one Gusto monster from your deck. Oh, nice. But negate their effects. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon one Gusto synchro monster using only those two monsters. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except wind monsters. Your opponent cannot target other Gusto synchro monsters you control with card effects. Nice. Part of the Gusto archetype. We got some new Gusto support. And our next little packet here. So I think we've seen all the comments. I'm just going to blaze through them now. And we have our first Link Beach, or extra deck Bee Trooper monster, which is Bee Trooper Armor Horn, which I believe is I'm potentially a Hercules beetle, I would assume. The big horn there. Kind of reminds me of the Heracross, which is one of my favorite Pokemon. So his effect is, it requires 2 insect monsters. You cannot special summon monsters except insect monsters. You can only use each of the following effects of B-Trooper Armor Horn once per turn. During your main phase, you can, immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 insect monster. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish 3 other insect monsters from your graveyard. Special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. There we go. Nice. Our next little packet here. And that is new Amaze Attraction Viking Vortex. Magic Key Unlocking, haven't seen that yet either. And then our rare for this one, our second ultra rare is Dramaturgy of Despia, or Dramaturge of Despia. Fairy effect monster, whose effect is, if a fusion, synchro, exceed, or link monster is special summoned, except during the damage step, you can target 1 effect monster on the field. Negate its effects until the end of this turn. If this card in your hand or field is used as fusion material, you can send to the graveyard or banished. You can special summon this card. You can only use each effect of Dramaturgy or Dramaturge of Despia once per turn. Nice, that's a really cool looking card as well. Sweet. Then our next is... Yeah, definitely a big shout out to the owner of Strictly Singles, as he was the one who allowed me to be able to do this video today and get this information out to y'all with the Dawn of Majesty. Because I was just going in to get another box of Lightning Overdrive and Blazing Vortex, and then he was just like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I got these in. Like, do you want one?" I was like, "Heck yeah, I want one." So yeah, so shout outs to him. This video wouldn't be possible without him, my own personal Grampa Yugi. Alright, so we have these. And our rare is Amazement Assistant Delia. Part of the Amazement archetype, whose effect is, it's a machine. Interesting. You know, it looks really humanoid, maybe cyborg. You can reveal 1 attraction trap card in your hand. Special summon this card from your hand. You can send 1 attraction trap from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. Set 1 attraction trap directly from your deck to your spell and trap card zone. You can only use each effect of Amazement Assistant Delia once per turn. Next one. Ooh, we got Peacock card here, and another. Well, that's actually interesting. So it is a fusion monster that requires 2 normal monsters, so it's somewhat generic. So the requires this is where you play vanilla monsters in your deck. But it's also a tuner, and it's a non-effect fusion monster, so there are ways to cheat this out of your extra deck to basically get a free tuner. So that's actually kind of cool as well. And then our rare card is Pendulum Treasure, whose effect is add 1 pendulum monster from your deck to your extra deck face up. You can only activate 1 Pendulum Treasure per turn. So just straight up getting pendulum monsters into your extra deck. Nice. Next little pack here, got 8 more after this one. And our rare is, we got Elbion, the Shrouded Dragon. It's really cool. Well, of course I'm gonna like it because it's as we know, I'm into those dragons. So its effect is, this card's name becomes Fallen of Elbaz while on the field or in the graveyard. Nice. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can send one Fallen of Elbaz or one branded spell or trap from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Apply the following effects based on where you sent it from. From the hand, special summon this card. From the deck, place this card on the bottom of the deck. Then, if you place this card from your hand, draw one card. You can only use this effect of Albion the Shrouded Dragon once per turn. Nice. So we still have our 2 ultra rares and 1 secret rare left to pull. So what I'm going to do now, since we've seen all the commons already, is I'm just going to show the remaining 8 foil cards. So our first one is Dino Wrestler Iguanodarka. Sweet. So its effect is you can discard one other dinosaur monster. Special summon this card from your hand. You can tribute one dinosaur monster, then target one Dino Wrestler monster from in your graveyard with a different original name from the tributed monster. Special summon it in defense position. You can only use each effect of Dino Wrestler Iguanodarka once per turn. So some more Dino Wrestler support as well. Nice. So yeah, now I'm going to have to remember which one I actually took stuff off of. Okay. So then we have our next one, which is... we got our third ultra rare, which is Protecting Spirit Logaeth, whose effect is, if this card on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one monster on the field. It cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. You can only use each effect of the following each of the following effects of Protecting Spirit Logaeth once per turn. If an effect of a fairy monster you control is activated, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only target one face-up card your opponent controls and one attack position monster you control. Banish that opponent's card, and if you do, change your monster to defense position. There we go. Some fairy support. Nice. Then our next one is... we got a collector's rare of the Protecting Spirit Logaeth. Let's get it, folks. Was not expecting that. So I wonder if that counts towards the ultra rare as well. But actually, I'm going to what's it called here? I'm going to sleeve that right now. That is the second overall collector's rare that I've ever gotten. The first one, of course, being the Joker's Knight from the King's Court set that recently came out as well. So I'm super happy about that. So that's awesome. Alright, here. Put her over here with the other special cards. So then our next is, let's see what we get. Down to our last 4 after this one. We have another branded opening, which is our first repeat of a rare card. So still got another secret and another ultra, maybe, unless that collectors were counted towards that ultra. So we have our next secret rare, Arrive in Light, which unfortunately means we did not pull the this guy right here, which is all right, because I will be getting some more of the set, so I will update you all in the future to see if I actually pulled him. So Arrive in Light, his effect is, when this card is activated, place one level 1 dragon monster from your hand or deck on top of the deck. Neither player can return Stardust Dragon or a synchro monster that lists Stardust Dragon in its text from the field to the extra deck. If a synchro monster or monsters is or are special summoned except during the damage step, you can apply one of these effects, but you cannot apply that same effect of Arrive in Light again this turn. Draw one card or special summon one tuner from your hand. Nice. And of course, the monster featured on there is the Majestic Dragon, which is used as a tuner to summon the Majestic Star Dragon as well. Alright, awesome. That is our second secret rare. Then our next one is... Ooh, we got Volo Fringes, the Darkest Dragon Doom Rider, which is a rank 7 exceed monster, which requires 2 level 7 monsters. Its effect is, once per turn, you can detach 2 materials from this card. Then target one face-up card on the field. Destroy it. And if you destroyed a monster, you can make one face-up monster you control gain attack equal to the destroyed monster's original level or rank times 300 until the end of the next turn. This card cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. This is a quick effect if this card has a dragon monster as material, but cannot be activated in the damage step. There we go, nice. And then our second last one is... Oh, no, not wrong. Ooh, we got that, nice, we got that kind of rail cannon type card, which is the Magic Key Mech Mortar Garrus Glasser. Yeah, we'll go with that. It's a machine ritual effect, whose effect is, you can ritual summon this card with Magic Key Maftia. Gains 300 attack for each different attribute in your graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects of Magic Key Mech Motor Garrus Glasser once per turn. When your opponent activates an effect of a monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard, if at least 2 attributes of monsters were used for this card's ritual summon quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Excuse me. If this ritual summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Magic Key monster from your deck to your hand. Excuse me, folks. I am going to take a quick swig of water. Always have water on hand when you're talking a lot, and that's all I can tell you, folks. And then our final card, which might be an ultra rare, we'll see, is... Oh, yes! It is the final ultra rare, which is Stellar Wind Wolf Riot, whose effect is, requires 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner monster, so it is generic. You can only control 1 Stellar Wind Wolf Riot. Gains 300 attack each time another monster's effect is activated. Nice. While the attack of this card is less than 4,000... Oh, okay, so it gains 300 attack each time a monster effect is activated until it reaches 4,000. So after 5 effects I have been activated, which will get 1,500 attack points, then it will stop gaining attack points. Once per turn, if this card's attack is 4,000 or higher, quick effect, you can shuffle both this card and all monsters your opponent controls into the deck. That's actually nasty for getting rid of boss monsters. So basically, if you get... So this card is kind of like an active big play stopper like Max C. In a sense, not to Max C's effect, because Max C will just give your opponent like a whole whack of like card advantage, because you keep drawing cards every time they special summon monsters. But most ways to special summon monsters is through a monster's effect. So if you have this on the board already, and then your opponent does a bunch of combos with using effects to special summon monsters to get like a big board, which will basically get this monster attack with 4,000 guaranteed, then basically you're just like, cool, I'm just gonna put this back in my deck and just wipe your whole board with and it's not it's amazing for 2 reasons. 1, it's not destruction, and 2, it is not actually targeting anything either. So basically, it's like non-targeted, non-destruction, which is actually kind of gross. So that's actually really bomb. So actually, I'm happy that I was able to pull this card as well. So that's actually sick. All right, and with that, we have finished our emergency before release opening of Dawn of Majesty. I'm glad that you were able to join me for this episode. I'm gonna try to upload this as soon as I can. Well, I'll actually upload this the same day that I'm recording this, which is, of course, the 7th of August, a interactive Saturday. But thank you again, folks. We got a lot of good pulls here. We did not, of course, get the chase card, but I will update you with that if I do happen to pull that chase card that we're looking for, our box art card. Thank you again for joining me. Of course, always believe in the heart of the cards, and have a good day, a good morning, afternoon, or night, no matter where you are. And I, the Black Viking, will see you next turn. Take it easy, folks.